Got some coffee in. I'm about ready to break camp and start heading down. I was really considering just staying for one more night. I had 3 nights planned. Already here. I've got a good camp that I could easily improve to be a lot better. Um, but I think I'm ready to go. Cold. I'm tired of this goddamn wind. This wind is getting old. It has been incessant since I got up here. And I think it's just time to go. I could find bits and pieces of this to enjoy, especially the solitude. I still haven't seen or heard another human since I left the trailhead, but that's fine too. That was part of the plan. It's pretty damn lonely up here, and you can really feel it. The fishing here is really good. If you like little 6-inch brook trout, I'd heard some rumors of some nice greenback cutthroats and maybe even some nice lake trout up in some of these lakes, and I'm not so sure I believe it now. Every little trout that I've caught anyways has just been a little 6 to 8-inch brookie, and the longer they get, the skinnier they get, so I don't have a whole lot of faith in any bigger fish up here. Certainly not even realistic eating size for a catch and cook before I hit the road. So yeah, there's a lot of things that are just pointing to say go down the hill. And unfortunately today it is mostly downhill. I got to make it through about 5 maybe 6 miles of pretty reasonable terrain. And then once I get to the Camp Lake Trail, a ways into it, anyways, it dropped off in about, I don't know, 30% grade down that fucking stream bed that I climbed to get up here. So that's going to be the big challenge of the day. I think what I'll likely do, there's a better view other than my ugly mug. I think what I'll do is just plan on taking her easy. I'll make it as far as I can, and hopefully, it's still fairly early, and I can cover the first 6 miles pretty quickly since it's relatively flat, and then that'll actually put me in shape to get home at a decent hour tonight. Maybe even pull back up to the apartment before it gets dark. So I'm gonna break camp, get a little bit of food in my belly, and probably won't stop for lunch. Let's stop for a quick snack and keep on moving on. I think that's going to be the name of the game today, is just one step in front of the other, and I'll make it there. At the current rate, if I wanted to make it home or back to the trailhead by dark, I'd only have to cover about 1/4 of a mile per hour, and we can do that. So I think it'll be no problem to get home today. I'm just going to get camp broke and packed up, and well, maybe try not to miss this place too much. It's earned a pretty special spot in my heart. I'd like to come back in better shape, maybe not so late in the season. Just a few days left really in August here, so all this wind that I've been feeling, it's definitely the cold fall wind up here. It bites. It gets right through your clothes. It takes the warmth right out of you. And a little bit earlier in the season, when it's getting warm and comfortable up here, boy, this would be something special. And that storm last night really humbled me. Taught me a lot about how I can put myself in positions that I can get into trouble in. And I was laying in my tent last night, just thinking. I keep calling this my tent. It's kind of a tent, kind of a hammock, but this is what actually kept me safe last night somehow. I didn't try very hard putting it together when I first got up here because the weather was pretty good, and I certainly didn't anticipate the severity of storms that would be rolling through later that evening. Probably 50, 60 mile an hour winds, heavy downpour rain. It was actually just kind of blowing mist around. At a certain point, it was raining and blowing so hard. Something I'd never really experienced. Something certainly I've never experienced alone. at like 10,700 feet by myself, you know, way up here, I realized literally all I have to rely on is the gear I have, and if I get wet, it's game over. I had already had the first signs of hypothermia before I laid down. I was getting the shakes real bad, and I realized for the first time ever up here camping anywhere really, that I'd truly put myself in danger. So I've learned a lot. I have learned so much. I learned a lot about myself. I've learned a lot about how to do all of this up here better next time. How to be more prepared. I'm out of shape. 10 miles in a day should be no problem at all. Maybe up here because the terrain's rough, there's some excuses to be made, but at the end of the day, this should be a day hike to this pond. So I'm going to focus on that. Get better mentally and stronger mentally as well as physically, and this will go a lot better next time. You know, all I can do is keep learning, and keep doing better, which is really important, I think, for me right now. I need to keep moving forward, and this has been a great experience to teach me to do that, even through some really tough struggles where I just want to leave. I've got some ibuprofen and stuff. Thank you, Tia, for making me take that. That's going to be, kind of my performance enhancer to get through the day. I don't generally take any medicine. That's just kind of me and my own issue, but I'm going to take some ibuprofen, some painkillers and stuff to just kind of put that ankle out of my mind so I can make it down. I'll deal with it when I get to town. I'm not too worried about it. It's not broken, actually sprained or anything. It's just swollen, it's bruised, doesn't want to move. So we'll get the hell out of here, and we're gonna get down to town today. I want to see the dogs. I want to lay in a real bed. That Lawson hammock, it's pretty neat. I really do like it. Part of the issues I have with it is you've got a hammock and you draw out 4 guy lines for the hammock, and then on top of that, you know, I've got a ridge line and guy lines out for the tarp too. So by the end of the day, you know, you've got 8 to 12 lines to set to lay this hammock out, and it does nice. It kind of holds you like a sleeping cot. It's not so much like a hammock that bananas you out, which is really nice. But in some ways, I think it's not as good, because I think there is some wind that's able to get, you know, into this underquilt. And I was really feeling that draft where it doesn't quite button up all the way. And you could feel it. My top side was warm because I've got a 10-degree top quilt. And this underquilt's rated for 17 degrees, and I felt the chill through it. So it had to have been the wind getting through. Got my camp water thing here. This has been amazing. The water from that creek right over there, that's some of the best tasting water I've ever had in my life. That was part of why I wanted to come up here too. I wanted to taste the water. I mean, it melts from these mountains up here, and this is the first place it hits. So it's pretty special. I could probably drink it without a filter, but it makes more sense too since I have one. This lake's been awesome. I'd like to bring Tia up here. I don't know if the dog could make it. That's a pretty rough trail for any dog, really. But I'd like to bring Tia up here, and this would be a hell of a lot better with somebody else, guarantee it. I think this is going to be sort of my last video of the trip. I really wanted to capture this site here because I learned a lot. I just learned a lot about what to do and what not to do as far as setting this up for inclement weather. The patch held, so that's a bonus. But yeah, I've still got a lot to learn as far as shelter and planning and, you know, general bushcraft skills. I've managed to do well starting fires with wet wood, keeping them going. Last night I had to put that one out. I actually threw a rock on top of it because the wind was blowing so hard it was starting to just create a shower of embers kind of everywhere. So threw the big rock on it and doused it real quick, and that was the end of the fire last night. So there was no safe way to keep that going in the wind, even though it was raining. There's enough pockets of dry material up here. I didn't want to take the chance and be that guy. So yeah, I think this is about it. It's been a lovely trip, and I feel like I spent a lot of these last 2 days just kind of talking to myself with the phone in my hand, and really just like trying to, holy shit, is that people over there? I see people. That's the first people I've seen since I left the trailhead. I'll be damned. How about that? Alright, well, that's my sign. We've seen people. It's time to leave, right? No, that makes my heart pretty happy to see somebody standing across the pond there. A couple of people, it looks like. So maybe they'll come around this way and say hi. But for now, I'm going to break camp and head home so I can see the people I really love.